Alrighty, hey guys, and welcome. I'm LDC, and this is day 8 of my Agrarian Skies 2-week challenge. Today's been a little bit busy, so I'm just going to walk you through what's been going on. First of all, over here, the farms have finally been upgraded. These all have blood magic rituals under them. These are the rituals of the Green Grove. Each of these little rituals is a 3x3 that goes directly under the dirt that you're farming on. So each of these farms has 8 rituals underneath it, and that's the reason for the hole I had in the middle. I can't fit another one in the middle here, so as far as I was concerned there was really no point in adding plants here. I want them kind of all to be ritualed up. So before we do anything else, let's give these a whirl. You can see that these are, empty farms, empty planters, empty export buzzers. So we're going to get these set up now. The Hell's Kitchen asks for 50,000 lettuce and 20,000 tomatoes. So I have 1 tomato seed, 24 lettuce seeds. So we're going to get that rocking. The Mac knows how to make the seeds out of the base fruits and vegetables. So if I say put a tomato seed in here, and then a tomato seed in here, like so, it's going to plant that. This is going to grow, it's going to go back into the system, turn it into seeds, and expand the farm. So this first one is just going to be tomatoes. I'm going to turn on the Ritual of the Green Grove, and we're going to let that go for a little bit. I'm going to do the same up here. These are all going to be lettuce. So I'm going to take my memory card, save that setting to the memory card, and apply it to all these export buses. Then I'm going to turn on all the rituals, and that's just going to crank its way through. You can see these are already starting to grow kind of quick. We're just going to leave that for the rest of the episode and come back at the end and see how well they've gone. Right, so the next thing that's going on, I added a couple more turbines. I had 4 yesterday, I now have 7. One of them is powering the base, so that's just sending power to some tesseracts down in this location. These 5. Because I'm going to have 2 turbines powering the base, which is 48,000 RF, I'm going to need 5 inputs, each at 10k, to receive all that power. These 6 are all putting 24k into the laser drills, so 6 by 24 is 144. So that's enough for 14 laser drills, which is how many we have now. This is sort of the start, about halfway through maybe, how many laser drills I'm going to want to eventually get. Unfortunately, while doing that, I ran out of cyanite, so what I did was I built a second reactor. This is where the next lot of turbines are going to go, when I get around to building those. And that's currently actually running, even though it's doing literally nothing. You can see it's cranking through like 35 yellorium every hour, and that's really just so I can produce more cyanite to build more turbines. And this as well is set to max pace. That's 100% capacity, it's just churning through. And you can see that it is actually using less fuel than the one above, because some of the steam is being removed, some of the heat is being removed, so that brings down its fuel usage. Right, so I got to remove this turbine, this reactor I had here that was powering the base, the little 10k reactor. Got rid of that, replaced it with these sets of machines that I'm using to do some mass producing. So I've got 20 pulverizers here, 20 furnaces here. I used these furnaces earlier. Whoa, bit of lag there. To make some toast. They're all set off now, but I would put, say, some dough in here, have it set to craft dough, so the Mac knows how to craft dough out of potatoes, water, and salt. And it would just cram dough into all these to make bread, and I would repeat with toast. So, you can see now, we've got our 10,000 toast. I rammed it through the QDS system. You can see in Hell's Kitchen, the toast quest has been completed. So that's pretty cool. I'm just going to jam these in the system for later. Right, so next, downstairs, I said yesterday that we didn't quite have enough igneous extruders. These 512 were not quite going to make it on time, so I added another 256 over here. This system is going to put out about 1 octuple compressed copper every day, these 750 odd, and I have over 5 days left, so that's 5 more coming in. and I only need 5, and I already have a little over 1. So we're well on track now for cobblestone. Also up here, while I was making all those turbines, I ran out of obsidian to make hardened glass with, and I needed more obsidian, not just to make more hardened glass, but also to make the ritual stones for all the rituals I was doing, the blood magic rituals. You can see that each of these requires an obsidian, and I needed quite a few. So I set up 8 more extruders set to obsidian, and they're going until I've got like 2,000 of the stuff. I also set up, you can see here, I've got some fishes. They're just the MFR fishes, which with power above a 3x3x1 pool of water make fish for me. So I haven't really been doing much with that. I'm going to need it later for Hell's Kitchen and mariculture. But you can see I've got 3,000 fish in the system from these fishes. I also got myself just 1 squid, gave him a name tag, called him Barry. Barry is my pet squid. Squids have also spawned naturally here, but they're just in a little 2-deep pool with a rancher. And that's making ink for me, just because I wanted a little bit of ink coming in. Not a lot of ink, just a little bit of ink. Right, so while I was making all that obsidian, we ran into some difficulties because we kept running out of lava. I really didn't have a lot of lava production. So to improve that situation, I went to the nether. I made this warp book to help me out. Went to the nether, set up an endothermic pump. So you can see that's cranked through quite a lot of this. The reason it's cranked through so much is because back at home I made myself a 64k lava storage disk. So that's this one here. So I have a total now of 17,000 buckets. Now I needed to do that eventually anyway, because I'm going to be using that lava in large quantities later to make endstone. Lava and glowstone in a barrel is the best way to make endstone en masse. And I need endstone en masse. I'm going to need something like 36,000 endstone. So I needed that lava coming in. It's not really ideal to be doing that just with cobble and magma crucibles, or copper in regular crucibles. It's just not great. So while I was waiting for my obsidian to build up so I could do some endstone stuff, I started running up the 16 meg storage chip. You can see I've made that one here. Unfortunately that ran me out of Certus quartz, so I had to add some cyan focuses to these to focus on Certus quartz, which kind of had me stuck for a little bit, because without Certus quartz and obsidian, without those things I couldn't really do a lot. I couldn't build more machines because I couldn't make more applied energistic stuff. I couldn't do any blood magic stuff without the obsidian. So to wait for all those things to build up again, and make good use of my time, I made a 3rd tier up here. So this here is my new Thorncraft room. You can see I haven't done a lot. I've just got a little research table. But what I did do is I went around and scanned everything. So I now have all the aspects unlocked and decent piles of them. I also went through in my Thaumatomicon and just unlocked some things I'll be using later. So through thaumaturgy, some basic wandcraft, basic some of these research mastery things, node tapping, nothing fancy, didn't actually do anything, just scanned stuff and researched items. But it's a pretty good time sink doing that. So, next, I had a bunch of stuff. I had my obsidian and my Certus quartz back, so I removed the cyan focuses, and those are just cranking along now. You can see though that if we go in here and just look up gold, I'm still only at about 20,000 gold, 19,800 gold. So this, to get my 360,000, is going to need a pretty hefty upgrade. So I'm going to be planning on doubling that and adding yellow focuses and such to get all the gold I need. But I did have my obsidian and Certus by that point, so I could make all these rituals. I also made a bunch of other stuff. First, you can see the blood shard recipe here, just with an imbued slate, weak blood shard, and a master orb. I had all those things, and over here, I have just a nice little setup for automating slate production. So I have a chest here with one of each individual slate in it. So what that means is I can come along here, select, and you can see I've got empty sockets currently blacklisted, so I'm just going to remove that. because I was using this to make filled sockets earlier, but I can take any old slate, throw it in the item duct, and it's on whitelist, and then hit the switch. And what that means is I can then throw a stack of stone or so in this chest, and it's going to cook it all up and output it all as the slate I have chosen. Whoops, I've just sucked out my orb. These rituals are using a pretty hefty amount of LP, but you can see I'm slowly increasing it right now. It's going up. The trick here is to jigger your sacrifice and speed rune ratio so that as you refill your LP network, your blood magic altar just gets to the very bottom and then starts refilling again. If it's not getting close enough to the bottom, then you don't have enough speed runes, and if it's emptying and spending too much time empty, then you have too many speed runes. So it's about rejiggering those ratios as much as possible to get as much LP in your network per second as possible, so that you can increase your LP a second, you can increase your ability to use rituals. So we'll put this demonic slate back. So what I did was I made myself a stack of imbued slates using that system, and that meant each imbued slate turns 1 blood shard into 5, so it effectively is 4 blood shards, and you get the master blood orb back. So that stack of imbued slates made me 4 stacks of blood shards, and I used about 3 doing the various things I needed to do. So then over here I made myself a bunch of extra alchemy sets. You can see that each of these has a master orb in it, so anything I put in here is more or less going to work. Some things do require an archmage blood orb, which I don't have yet, but I've made myself a bunch of simple catalysts, just like so. Sugar, redstone, glowstone, gunpowder. I've also made myself some terrai. So you can see terrai, some simple catalyst, obsidian, dirt, sand. Again, it's pretty simple stuff. I also made all this aether. Aether? I think it's aether. So the aether is what I'm going to be using to summon the elementals. It's pretty standard because the air elemental that the aether summons is kind of the easiest guy to fight. And that's why I wanted that gas tier farm, so I could make aether in reasonable quantities. So there's just feathers, gas, tears, simple catalyst, glowstone dust. Made myself a bunch of aether. So I've got half a stack of that stuff. I also made myself some weak filling agents. Now the weak filling agent, it's a pretty nifty little device. Simple catalyst, nether wart, glowstone, redstone. If I combine that right now with this terrai and half a stack of simple catalyst, I can make the standard filling agent. It's just weak filling agent in terrai, actually, not a simple catalyst. So I'll throw that in my making stuff chest. This is going to bust out the standard filling agent. So now, if I were to say, have a potion flask, and this just happens to be the flight potion flask, which is the main one I'm going to be using at this point, and even then not very often. If I were to run this thing out, and we might actually see if we've got any empty potion flasks. We do. So that regeneration one I was using earlier, we're going to fill that right now with the standard filling agent we've just made. We put it in a chemistry set. We wait for that to bubble away. It's got 1 swig left in this potion flask, and now it has 5. So this has refilled 4, or half the potion flask. So with a bunch of these stockpiled, I can continually refill my potions, which is quite nice, so that I don't have to make any more and I can kind of use them with impunity. So that's something that's pretty nifty to do. So then I also made myself a bunch of sigils. I have here the air sigil, which you have to be a little bit careful with. But using this, particularly with my hover mode disabled, I can fly about reasonable paces. It's a pretty good idea right now because I still take full damage to keep my hover mode on. We'll be dealing with that in a little bit. I also made the sigil of the blood lamp, which is a personal favourite of mine. It just fires a projectile, which creates these little blood particles, and this emits light like a standard torch. So instead of torches, I could be throwing these around, and they look quite good. In my personal opinion, I can imagine some wouldn't like them. And they're a bit irritating to remove. You have to find the tiny hitbox. So if I were playing like a the game where I wanted things to look nice, that's a pretty good pick. So I've also got a void sigil, a lava sigil, sigil of the green grove here. Sigil of the green grove kind of just works as bone meal. And we've got a sneak peek of how well our farms have been going here. But I can just sort of right-click, hold right on a plant, and it acts as just an infinite source of bone meal. It does this weird flashing thing because that's activating it. So when it's active, stuff around you grows faster, and that stacks with the Green Grove ritual I currently have running. But I do prefer to just kind of go like this. Which means if I were to do something like that, I don't need to replenish my bone meal. It seems a bit useless now, but it's super helpful for stuff like doing the Macquarie's questline. It's very, very convenient for that. So we'll throw that away, back in my thing. So the air sigil, the blood sigil, the Green Grove sigil, these are kind of my three favourites. The sigil of magnetism is also a good one, but I haven't quite done that yet. So the other thing I did was over here, I made myself a demon summoning platform. It's currently kitted out to be able to summon tier 2 demons, because there is a... I'm just going to replace my jetpack. Sorry about that, light maintenance needs performing. So there's a quest later that requires me to summon like 3 or 4 different kinds of tier 2 demons and kill them for like a kill everything quest. So this is currently kitted out to do that. Also in the middle I just have this containment ritual, and you should be able to see any minute now, yeah, a little blood particle goes up. And what that means is that anything that gets summoned in here is not going to be able to escape. It's just going to be stuck in here, and it's going to let me be able to wail away at it. So we're going to use this to summon at some elementals today with this ether. We're going to summon the air elementals and kill him with a bound sword to get our demon blood shard. I'm going to get a couple of those because we're going to make Archmage blood orbs. We're also going to make, you can see here, the awakened activation crystal, which is required for the more powerful rituals later, which I may or may not use. I couldn't actually tell you. But it's nice to have. So we're going to get ourselves a couple of those going down. So, but before we do that, we're going to get together. I'm just going to clear some of this stuff out. We're going to be wanting to make a bit of bound armor. We're going to upgrade our armor capabilities. We've got some crappy diamond armor right now and an armored jetpack, which is fine, but I'm keen for an upgrade. So to do that, we're going to take some of these filled sockets and soul armor forges. The filled sockets here, I just used a bunch of blood shards that I had heaps of blood shards, and over there you saw that I simply blacklisted this on my automation system and threw a bunch of them in the blood altar. They took a little bit, but honestly not very long to fill all these. And then with those I made 4 soul armor forges, just stone, the filled sockets, and a magician's blood orb. Very simple stuff. So with this, I can do some fancy stuff. I can kind of throw some of these down in such a pattern. And this would make me some boots. But before I do that, I want to upgrade the boots. So we're going to throw some things in there as well. These boots I think are going to be air sigil boots. So all I have to do is, in one of these, I'm going to put a master blood orb. Now, it's replaced the master blood orb because I have a bunch on hand. Now that's going to mean that any sigil I put in these boots, once they're created, won't use LP. Then I throw in a blood shard, which gives me the ability to actually put in a sigil. Then I throw in the air sigil. Now, I take a activation crystal. I've left the activation crystal in the bag. Take the activation crystal, activate this, and kaboom! Lightning strikes, and I get some bound boots. The magic thing about these is, you can see, I've got a weak blood shard, an air sigil, and a master blood orb. The air sigil in items means you take no fall damage. So if I go all the way up, with hover mode off, and fall down, nothing. So that's pretty cool. I now am immune to fall damage. And I can combine that with the air sigil to kind of fly about with impunity. I still need to be careful of those laser drills, but this is a pretty enjoyable way to travel. And it's actually going to have some use later when I make some things kind of far away from the main base. It's a pretty quick way of getting about. Obviously not as quick as the warp book, but it's still not at all insignificant. So put the air sigil away. I'm going to make the rest of the bound armor now. I can come back down here. I did forget that I actually only needed one soul armor forge, and I made 3 because I thought each individual armor piece required one, but more fool me, I suppose. We're going to make the chest piece, and I'm actually not going to put anything on the chest piece. No master blood orbs, no weak blood shards, nothing like that. The reason for that is I'm not going to be wearing the chest piece much, and when I am, it's going to be because I'm fighting someone. If I'm fighting someone, there's no sigil I really want on there while I'm fighting someone that I don't also want just in general. So for now, we're just going to make the chest piece. And we have the chest piece. Now this is quite good with the flight potion, because I can wear the chest piece, meaning I've removed my jetpack, so I combine that with the flight potion that I've foolishly put someplace silly. Where did I put that? So now I have creative flight because I've drunk this, and that's going to last another 19 minutes. So again, this is quite good. Combined with the immunity to fall damage and the air sigil, I'm looking pretty good. The issue with this is, in general, I do actually prefer the jetpack, mainly because I don't have to double tap space to start flying. All sorts of, it's just nicer. It also gives me a nice flashy thing in the top left telling me when I'm about to run out. But this system is also pretty good. So now we do the boots, the pants rather. The pants I am actually gonna, see, damn thing. So the pants I am gonna put something on. We're gonna go with a master blood orb and a blood shard again. Like so. And to these we're going to add the void sigil and make the pants. And now we have the pants. The void sigil on the pants is going to stop me taking damage from the void. I'm just going to get my warp book to increase the speed of this process. So we fall down. We're in the void, we're just floating about. -23. I could actually let go, disable my creative flight. I'd just fall more or less forever. Eventually I'd probably just starve to death. But we're just gonna take the warp book home. So that's another threat removed from the game. The final thing is the helmet we're gonna make. And later I might unbind this and rebuild it with some other sigils, but for now what I want in here is fire immunity. So same thing, blood shard to bind a sigil, master blood orb to remove the LP cost, and we just throw on a lava sigil and activate. Now we have the helmet. One of the issues with the fire resistance is I'm constantly kind of giving off this irritating particle effect. But it is quite nice because it removes a little bit more of the threat of these laser drills. The bound armor itself does not protect you from being on fire. You need the sigil for that. So in general now, I can fly through these and not have it be kind of life-threatening and have to panic and rush to this water thing, because that's a dangerous workspace. That's a dodgy place. I'm getting a bit hungry now. I finally ran out of grilled cheese, by the way, so I started making myself some cheeseburgers. I'm going to need to upgrade these to deluxe burgers, with adding some lettuce and tomato, and then move on to the delighted meal a little bit later. But that's not a thing for now. So, we have all our bound armor. I'm just going to ditch this in here, because I won't be needing it in a while. I definitely don't need that. We'll move some of this stuff in our magic bag. I do want this, actually. So, now, I can take my bound blade, my Terrai, and a master blood orb, and I can mosey on over to my demon summoning area. We're just going to throw 6 terrai. These clip really weird. You get stuck in these, you waggle about like a mofo. I'm going to throw 6 terrai around the outside. And a Master Blood Orb in the middle. Oh my goodness. Just like so. And then... why is this not working? So that was a little bit silly. Some of you might have noticed that instead of a plinth in the middle, I had another pedestal. I made a plinth earlier but forgot, and it was sitting in my ME system, and I just plonked down an extra pedestal. The plinth obviously needs to be in the center, and is just a pedestal with some iron blocks added, like so. Oh, whoops. Like so. Pedestal, iron blocks. So that happened. That happened. That's alright, it's been a long day, honestly. So the blood orb goes in the middle. We surround the thing with ether. The lightning strikes. Now, when the elemental is summoned, he's going to be stuck inside here. I'm going to be able to get really close with my bound blade. And just make sure this is looking pretty good. Ow. So he's stuck in now. His special ability is to fling me in the air. But because I'm stuck under this rock, he can't actually do much. Whoops, I hit him while he was glowing, and he repelled my damage back at me, ignoring armor. Now he's flung me up. I'm a bit nervous right now. I'm gonna get really close. And last hit him for that demon blood shard. With the demon blood shard, I can come over here. That was a bit of a misnomer actually. He doesn't require last hitting for the demon blood shard. The bound blade simply applies a weakness debuff, which means that when he does die, he'll drop the blade, the blood shard. He does not require last hitting with the bound blade. So you could, hit him with this and then something else with looting, or you could do whatever you want. So we can take this blood orb out and throw in our demon blood shard. This is gonna eat all the blood. We should pretty easily be able to turn this into a Archmage's blood orb. And there we have it. Reasonably quick. I'm actually going to bind this to myself and leave it in there. So, we're going to do that again. I'm a bit nervous actually about how much damage I took just now by being a bit lazy. So we're going to get our regen potion. And that's going to regen me up. I have a couple of heart canisters. I've got 4 from miscellaneous quests and another 3 from the milk quest. The milk quest is great like that because it's repeatable every Minecraft week or so. Which means that I can simply repeat that to get more heart canisters. And in fact, I believe I've done that already, so I can take my quest book like so, go into the, where would that be? Go with the flow quest line. You can see milk is completed, but also repeatable quest, unclaimed reward. So I can take that again, and it's going to give me all that stuff. So I can shift right click these. And now I have an extra 10. So, we're going to get ourselves another demon blood shard. And try not to die. Alright, so I just killed 2 of those guys and got no blood shards. I don't know why that is, but we're just going to deal with that. I'd say we're pretty pressed for time. I'll just have a look at our little timer. Yeah, we're doing okay. We're going to run over to our farms now and see how they're going. You can see they're all full. So keeping in mind that we started with 24 lettuce seeds and 1 tomato seed, we can see that this planter is full of lettuce seeds. We're going to come over to our ME system For example, lettuce, we already have 4,700. So this is going to be done in easily by the morning. Tomato also. So if I sort of go in here, we can start cranking through some of these Hell's Kitchen quests. I did toast earlier. Here's tomatoes. 1 tomato. So I only need 10,000 tomatoes. I need a lettuce. 50,000 lettuce. So in terms of tomatoes, this has been going for about half an hour, and I've got 3,000. So this is easily going to be done by the morning. Alrighty then guys, so that's pretty much all the time we have for today. So today we got a bunch of stuff done. We crammed out the rest of Blood Magic. That's pretty much completely sorted now. We used it to wipe out our farms. Like, farming is not a problem anymore. Our farms are ridiculously powerful. We added some more reactors, some more drills. We got some lava. We got some fish going. Got a bunch of basic miscellaneous infrastructure set up as well to get through some of these other quests. I believe the oakwood logs finished up about an hour ago. And we got a pretty good start on Thorncraft. We did most of the tedious Thorncraft stuff. The scanning and the finding items to scan and stuff. We did all that. We got all that out of the way. So Thorncraft tomorrow is going to be pretty fun. So tune in for that. Day 10, Thorncraft. So thanks so much for stopping by. As always, it has been a real pleasure. Come by tomorrow for Day 10, like I say, Thorncraft. We're going to plough through as much of that as we can in one day. So, I've been LDC, you've been excellent, and this has been Day 9 of my Agrarian Skies 2-week challenge series.